Hi guys, welcome back. Showing you this gorgeous smoky green glittery eye. So if you want to see how I created this, carry on watching. So I've got my gorgeous model here today, Nyx, and I'm going to start off with the eyebrows. Now I'm going in with my Nyx Brow Pencil in chocolate. Just going to use some small strokes here and fill it in very lightly. So I start from the bottom of the eyebrows and then I start filling it in and use my spoolie just to spread that product around. Now I don't tend to go in with brow gel liner, should I say, that often, because I just think sometimes they give you a very heavy finish, and I think purely when you eyebrows, I mean she's got very full eyebrows anyway, but when you go around with your concealer and your eyebrow just automatically becomes really defined, so I just think this is enough product. But I do use them, but I think it just depends when and how you use them really. So I'm going in with my foundation today as my eye base. I just wanted to show you guys that you can use any concealer, any eye base foundation to use as your base basically, because I use a P. Louise, which I've been using in all my other videos, it's an amazing product, and obviously if you've got it, fine. If you want to buy it, you can do as well, but I don't want you guys to have to keep going out and getting products that you might have seen in my video and think that's the only thing that's going to achieve that particular look. So I thought I'd just show you. I'm going in with a very heavy eye look today as well, and P. Louise base would have been perfect for that, but I thought I'd show you just using foundation today, and it works just as well. So I'm just going in with a flat synthetic brush and I'm just applying it to the eyes in a patting motion, and this just the reason we apply a base is because it gives you a tacky base. It gets rid of it, gives you a clean canvas to work on the eyes, and then it also makes sure that any colour eyeshadows that you're going to add, it makes sure that the colour actually pops, because sometimes you'll feel that the colour looks amazing in the palette but it doesn't really show up really well on your eyes, and that's because you're just applying it maybe to the naked eye, and you do need to have some kind of eye base on to actually make the colours pop. And you don't have to use this much product either. I've actually still used quite a bit here. You could actually just use a beauty blender here and blend it all out as well. So it just depends on what you like to do and what kind of look you're trying to achieve. So I've done the top of the eyes as well, used a flat brush there, going in with my big fluffy brush now. So I'm just blending the foundation out. Now because it's a foundation, it blends out really nicely and easily, but I didn't want too much product there either, so I'm just going around with my fluffy brush and just blending everything out. Adding on any product, because if it's come off, I'm just adding a little bit back onto the eyes there and patting it on. Just make sure the eyes are kept closed at this time. So I'm using the Wahala palette from juvia'splace, and this is absolutely gorgeous. I bought about 4 or 5 palettes a few months ago and I was dying to use them. I had no idea what the pigmentation was like, but it's absolutely amazing. Really stunning colours. The glitter's amazing as well. So I've got a lot of looks planned with these palettes now. I'm just waiting for lockdown to end, hopefully, so that I can start doing some new looks for you guys. Went in with that shade, and I think it's called Lit, and just using a big fluffy brush. Now I tend to use the Morphe M511, and I think it's a 242 brush from MAC as well that I tend to use. Just a big fluffy eyeshadow brush. So I'm just packing on my colour and I'm tapping it on. Just remember that we haven't set the eye with any powder, so your eyeshadow is actually going to set this. So if I went in just straight away with my brush and started swirling it around, I'd have foundation on my brush as well, and all the colour would be really muddled as well. So that's why I start patting it on first. When I can feel that it's quite dry underneath, then I'll start blending it out. Now I'm going in with this lighter green. This is called Lust, and I'm doing this right on the outer corners of both eyes. Now the reason I'm doing these two colours, using these two colours, is you might look at the final look and think, well, why did you do that? It just makes it easier to blend out the colour. So when I add the dark colour, it just makes sure that basically there's a transition of color then, so it just looks very, very blended instead of just having one harsh color. And maybe sometimes when you try and blend that out, it goes a little bit too dark. So I tend to start off like this, and I just think this works for me. Now I've just added it, like I said, to the outer corners, and it'll just be easier to blend out. So we're going to go in with a dark colour now, and I think this is called Egg Balmy, and I'm going to use a flat brush to apply this. So this is the colour I'm going in with. You can go in with a flat dense brush as well, just to pack on the colour. So when you do a smoky eye, you tend to go in with a flat dense brush. Now this was small and a little fluffy, but it's not very fluffy. So the reason I like using this brush is because it actually, I can then just blend a little bit out as well as I'm doing it. So the ends I start buffing out a little bit before I even finished applying it. So I'm just packing the colour on here. So I'm still not going in too heavy. You'll see I go a little bit heavier later on. But I've got most of my colour, and when some of the colour has come off the brush, then right at the top I'm just blending it out. So I'm going in with another small fluffy brush, and I've gone in with the very first colour now. So this just makes it easier because I already had it there on the base. So I just use it from the socket area, and I'm just blending it all the way around the whole eye now. You can see, you know, the colour just transition, the blending, it's all showing up nicely now. Now while I'm doing this, you'll notice that the dark colour, the dark green colour that I just added onto the colour is kind of like getting a bit blended away. So you have to go back in with this. So when you're doing a smoky eye, any smoky eye, whether it's black or brown, after you've done your blending, you have to go back in and pack that colour on. Otherwise it would have looked a bit unfinished. Even though I'm adding glitter and things like that, it just wouldn't have looked right. So I really wanted it to be quite dark on the eyelids, but then transition out into a slightly lighter colour. Now it looks very dark at the moment. It looks a little bit messy as well, but promise, you know, it will get better. Now I'm going in with a shimmer colour first. Now this shimmer was absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just such a gorgeous colour. I mean, green's my favourite colour anyway, but I absolutely loved the way this came up. I'm just using my finger. You can use your brush if you want to, but I am just using my finger to apply this. Now when I normally apply my products like this on the eye, I tend to go in twice. So this is the first time, then I'll go in a bit more. But there was just enough colour payoff here, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And totally you could actually just add this and finish off your eye makeup off here, you know, add your lashes, clean up the eyes, go onto the base, and this would be lovely as well. But I obviously had I wanted to put my glitter on, so I thought I'd show you today how to do that. Now I'm using my NYX glitter glue. Now there are so many glitter glues out there, but this one works well, so I tend to use this a lot. So I've just got a little bit on the back of my hand, and with a flat synthetic brush I'm just tapping it on the back of my hand first, and then slowly I'm tapping it onto the eyeshadow now. Now I'm not tapping too much on, and I'm not tapping it hard enough to kind of like move my eyeshadows around everywhere. So the last thing you want it getting stuck, you know, or taking off most of your eyeshadow when you're actually applying it. And then I've just used this NYX glitter, and I've used my finger to actually apply this, so I just keep dipping back into the glitter and onto the eyelid, and there's enough glue there for it to hold on to. So you know, that's how much I wanted. So, and it's stuck on perfectly. I'm just going in with a clean brush here, and I'm just taking off, you know, some of the extra glitter that's gone a little bit too high, just to make sure that it's clean. So just a small fluffy brush, just with that first green colour again, just making sure that everything's a bit blended. Because when you add glitter, you know, it's important to make sure that everything kind of like flows together. So I'm just cleaning this up now. I'm using this colour underneath the brow bone now. I don't always go in with a colour underneath the brows, so you've probably noticed that, and sometimes I do. So I've taken the green quite high, so I thought, you know, a little bit of highlight so that when my model turns her head, it just catches in the light a little bit. And then I bring this downwards a little bit, so this blends out that transition colour for me as well a little bit. So that was the eye makeup, that's all done. And you can do this with all different colours. You know, you could do this with browns, and you would do it exactly the same. You just change your colours a little bit, so, and then add obviously the glitter accordingly. So I'm just using a makeup wipe now, just cleaning up all the eyes. This is why I tend to do the eyes first and then the makeup, because I'm just really messy. I don't think I'd ever be able to do the base first and then the eyes. So I used my Model Zone moisturiser, I can't remember what it was, but then I've gone in with the Revolution Glass Skin Primer. First time I was actually using this, I did quite like it actually. It is quite nice, so we'll just have to see whether you guys like it or not as well. But yeah, just when you are applying that product, just make sure that it is quite oily, so you do have to kind of let it absorb into your skin for a few minutes before you start applying your products on the face. Otherwise everything will just be slipping everywhere, nothing will absorb into the skin. With any oily product like that, just make sure you let it absorb in. Now I use the Kryolan paint stick there just to colour correct, so I've used that before as well. Using the Nars Radiant Longwear foundation now, and just painting it on with my flat synthetic brush. Now I went in with just one foundation today. Normally you've seen me blend, mix quite a few foundations and then use it. I just wanted to show you how it would be if I just used one foundation. And I think there is a difference. You can have a look at the makeup, but I think you'll notice that there is a difference in coverage and the way the actual makeup looks as well. So it just shows you, whether you're using one foundation or whether you're using a few mixed, what kind of different effects it gives you. And if you were doing this as a bridal, I would definitely be mixing foundations. I don't think I'd be sticking to the one. I don't think it gave me that coverage that I wanted, even though it was lovely. But for a bride, I'd definitely be sticking to my other combinations. So if you want to check those videos out, then please obviously have a look as well at the other videos, because I have gone through about 3 or 4 different combinations. So I've then gone in with my damp beauty blender and I'm blending everything out. Now because I'd used that oil base, it took quite a while, longer than normal to be honest with you, to blend it all out. So I was there for quite a good 10-12 minutes blending out, just tapping away. So going in next with my concealer, so the same one, Kevyn Aucoin Central Enhancer, colour 07. Placing this everywhere I want it, so under the eyes, down the bridge of the nose, chin area, and just between the eyebrows as well normally. I have sped this up, so if you do want a slow down version, check out one of the other videos and just see how I've done all this, but you can still see everything here. Using the Fenty Beauty again, it works for me, so I don't see why I need to kind of like grab another product. So I'm quite happy with this until it runs out, I think. I just think there's so much on the market these days. There's just so many products and every day there's something new. And a lot of it is hype, to be honest with you. That's how I just feel, a lot of it is hype. And, I just don't think there's any point in just having so many contour sticks or contour products, or even when it comes to like eyebrows, there's not much I use. There's only a few different products that I use, so I think it's personal choice. Please do comment as well and let me know what you think of the videos, and let me know what other looks you want me to create, because then I'll try and create those a little bit quicker. I am aiming to upload videos on a weekly basis, but I am running out of looks soon, so I'm hoping lockdown will finish and I can start creating more looks. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys and the support that I'm getting from everyone, and all the comments on Instagram and here and everything. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we're just blending out the highlight now. So I've blended out the contour line. So I tend to do the contour lines first and then the highlighter. Some people do it the other way around, but I think there's no right or wrong way. I think it's just the way you work. So whichever is easier for you. So just patting away, tapping away. Please do remember also to subscribe, let family and friends know as well. There are so many different looks that I've got planned, and I'm hoping inshallah that I'll be trying to teach you all the bridal hair makeup styles that I know, and all the different types of makeup and everything. So I'm hoping that it's benefiting a lot of you. Do let me know in the comments, and I hope I'm explaining everything well as well. I know in this video I've not gone through exactly everything on the contour and things like that, but I've shown you quite a few times now, so I thought I'd just talk about something else as well. But if you do want to see, I've contoured and highlighted like this in all my other videos as well, so have a quick look. So I'm going in with the Laura Mercier powder. Now it tends to be, this is the powder that I stick with. I used the Huda Beauty powder that I do like as well. I don't feel that sits well on all skin types. For me it's not always worked, but I will be using it in one of my videos and I'll show you. But it is a very nice powder to use, and it's got more colour to it as well. So I think you can achieve different looks with that. So I used my brush first to apply the powder here, and then I'm going in with the damp beauty blender and I'm adding on my powder quite heavily now. I thought I'd show you this way because I've used brushes before and I've used a powder puff before, and I thought I'd just tend to, just show you that I tend to use my beauty blender a lot as well, like this. So I tend to use either the original beauty blender or the one from Real Techniques. I tend to like those better actually than the beauty blender itself now, because I find that one a little bit dense sometimes. So I like the one from Real Techniques. So while that's sitting there baking, I'm going to go in with the powder contour. Now I use this new kit from NYX, and I'm just going in on the contour lines on the cheek area. Now this one was a little bit dark actually, a little bit darker than what I thought it was going to be, so I didn't go in too heavily either. So I keep most of the product on the outer areas of the face, and then I blend outwards towards the ear first and upwards, and then I bring some product across the cheek, but not too much. Now for the nose I felt that was a bit too dark, so I went into my original palette that I've got, that's got slightly lighter colour in it from NYX again, and I'm using this Jaclyn Hill brush just to go down the sides of the nose. So at the moment I'm just placing my colour on, and then I tend to blend it out. I'm not a huge fan of really heavy contour on the nose, so I tend to blend it out quite a bit, but if you didn't want to, if you liked it, you could contour heavily if you like. I think it all depends on what you like and what your client likes, so it's personal choice again, I think. So you can see I'm going upwards, and then I'm taking the product slightly down the nose as well, just to make sure it blends out, but I haven't completely blended it out, you can see. So with this round fluffy brush, this is from Morphe as well, this is a powder brush, I've added a little bit of powder onto it, and then I'm buffing away all the powder now on the face. So starting with the jawline, on the neck, on the forehead, and I'm just buffing it round, and then I got a slightly smaller brush because it's a bit too big to go underneath the eyes, and then I press the powder in, and then I just start buffing that away as well. So I'm using this powder brush as well, just over the nose as well, just to give me a slight more better blend on the nose contour as well, but then I'll start blending out with a beauty blender as well. So I'm just going to buff away and just make sure everything's blended. And then using my damp beauty blender again, just to soften those edges. This is just the first brush that I used to apply the powder with, so I'm just buffing away, just making sure that everything's blended out. You can follow me on Instagram as well, ShazmaMUA, and you can see pictures and videos there of all my actual brides and work that I've done as well. So I've already sprayed her face, I didn't quite get that on camera, with the iconic Prep and Glow spray, and then I've gone in with Doll Beauty highlighter, which is a really hyped up highlighter, and it is really nice, it's very nice. You can pick this up from Topshop as well if you don't want to get it online. You can normally pick them up from there, and their lashes are lovely as well. So adding this to all the points that I want it, and then I'm blending it out a little bit with my beauty blender as well. And then I'm just spraying her face again. I used the Pixie hydrating spray this time. So this was the second time I'd actually sprayed, and I'm going in with a second highlighter. So you don't always have to do this, you could always just go in with one highlighter as well, just depends what you want. But I went in with this powder one. This is from Artist Couture, I think that's what they're called, and it's from America, but it's like a powdery, very fine dust highlighter, and it's beautiful. But I've had it for a while now, but I still think I prefer the one from Inglot, the sparkling dust from Inglot, than this one. But obviously I've got it and I do like using it, so I've used it this time. You just need to make sure that you blend everything out afterwards. I tend to put my highlighter on first and then my blusher, so that it all kind of like melts away in each other. So I don't like just seeing the highlighter sat on top of the blusher, not blended out. So using my beauty blender, I'm just blending it out slightly. Now the blush I'm using, which I tend to use a lot of, is from MAC, and that's Extra Dimension in the colour Show Gold. So just on the apples of the cheeks I tend to use this colour. I tend to have a lot of pink colours and slightly orangey colours. So underneath the eyes I'm just using a powder puff, and that's just to balance my hand on and not to get any fingerprints or handprints onto the face, because I've obviously done her foundation now. So that's why I tend to use that. So I've gone in with the very first colour, a very small fluffy brush underneath, and I'm just blending out that first colour underneath the eyes, and then I'm going to go in with the darker colour as well. I'm just getting rid of any fallout there. If you do have any fallout, the best thing is to flick it away straight away. Just get a small fluffy brush or a powder brush and underneath the eyes, and just add a bit of powder on if you want to, and just flick it away. So I'm using a very small eyeshadow brush now, going in with the dark colour, and you can see I'm just popping it onto the lower lash line now. The pigments of this palette were really, really nice. It's the palettes are just so pretty. So the colour that I used underneath the brow bone is what I'm using on the inner corner of the eyes as well, just to highlight them. So I just blend it upwards and across the eye a little bit into that green that we've already got there. The eyelashes, by the way, that I used were from Tatti Lashes, and these are the TL4s that I've used. And TL3s and TL4s are normally my favourite ones, and I tend to curl my eyelashes first and then apply them. So I'm using some glitter here now. So this is from Urban Decay, and it's a gel eyeliner, a glitter gel eyeliner. So I tend to use this a lot underneath the eyes. Now it's a lovely glitter to use on top of the eyelids as well, and a lot of people use the gold for like bridal makeovers and just to have a sparkly eye. So but I didn't use the loose glitter here because I had this one. It's in like a green colour. I didn't quite know what colour it was, but they've got like I don't know, about 7 or 8 shades I think. So green, silver, blues, black I think. So but it's a lovely glitter to use. I tend to use this a lot in my Mendi looks that I do as well. So I'm using the Rimmel lip liner now just to line the lips. I think this is in the colour Addictiom, and a lot of lip liners don't work for me, you know, because they're just not creamy enough. So these ones from Rimmel, they're like the retractable pencil, so they tend to work well. And I've gone in with this nudie peachy colour from Kim K's range just to fill the lips in. And then I've gone on to do the hair, so I'm going to show you how I did the hair. We're using the half head wig and doing the volumized bouncy curls that I tend to do, and had a lot of requests to kind of like recreate and let you guys see how to do it. Now I'm doing it on the model here, and then I've also got another video coming soon which I've done on a doll's head as well, just to show you again and explain everything, because sometimes when I'm doing photo shoots and things like that I have to rush a little bit, so I can't show you everything. So I'm going to show it again in another video as well. But this is how I've parted it. Now I tend to go quite big and you know, a lot of volume. But I haven't done that today, but this is exactly how I would create this hairstyle. So, you know, I'm not hiding anything here. The only thing different in this video is the volume, basically. So the volume only suits certain people, and I didn't think it would look right on my model today, so I didn't want to go too full on. Some of the pictures, or if you're watching this and you've been on my Instagram page, you've seen where I've created really big, high volume, and this is exactly how I've done it, but I've just backcombed a bit more, and I'll explain it as I go along. But you can see I've sectioned the hair ear to ear. Then I had this top section which I've just clipped out the way, and then I'm taking this section in the middle now, which I'm just going to tie up and pop into a ponytail. Now the hair that is left lying down on the neck is basically, I've just sectioned that into two and brought it either side because I'm going to be curling that. Now this ponytail, I just want to move out the way. I don't need this, so I'm literally just going to pin it up roughly and get it out of the way, and then that just creates a base for me to add my padding and also add my hairpiece on. Just have a look at how I'm pinning as well. I'll show you. I just tend to kind of like angle the U-pin into the hair, and then I kind of like I bring it out and twist it back into the head. So you'll see me do it a little bit more slowly in a second, but if you can get the pinning right, then you don't have to use as many pins. And obviously if you use a lot more pins, it's just difficult for bride or your client to take the hair out, but also it can be quite annoying as well. So going in with my padding now, you don't have to use any padding here. You can just add your hairpiece if you wanted to, but I am adding the padding, and the padding I actually wanted it to go all the way around, so I'm adding 3 pieces, one in the center here. You can just see how I pin that in, by the way, and then I'm going either side. Now if I wanted a really big heavy look, and if I was also adding, if like I was doing this for a bride and I was going to add a scarf, a heavy scarf, I'd be doubling up on this padding. So I'd actually gone over that first padding, I'd put another one on at least, and then either side, you know how I'm adding this one, I'd be adding another one on top as well, just so that the hair then wouldn't flatten. Because once I've backcombed it, and when you add padding, that still works as well, but then this just gives you that extra bit of height, and also you know, this will then be able to take the weight for the scarf that you're going to be adding on as well. Obviously for the party hairstyle you don't have to add this padding, or if you want to, you can just add it in like I have. So you'll see that even though I've added the padding, it's just giving me more volume, so that when I actually add the hairpiece, it's not just right in the center and then nothing else going on. You know, it just looks a bit odd. So I wanted it to be framing the face basically. So it just gives me a slightly wider base. When you're using these hairpieces, this is a half head wig. Just make sure the colour matches. This one looks obviously like it doesn't match completely, but once it's all done you'll see that it is actually matching. I think it's just the lighting that I've got, but I tend to have 3 colours. I tend to have them in black, which I think is 01, like a dark brown, which is normally 04, and then like this one doesn't have a number, I think it's blonde. It's a brown with caramel highlights. So this one is what I would use when normally girls have highlighted hair, and it tends to work with quite a few colours like that. So I'm taking the top section now. So this was the very first section that I clipped out the way when I was doing the ponytail. So I'm just going to brush this out. Now normally if my model or client's hair needs straightening here, I will straighten it now. The rest of the hair I can get away with. Obviously the one that I've tied up, I didn't need that straightening or anything, but this bit here I would tidy it up and smooth it out if I need to, but my model's hair was already straightened, so I didn't need to do that. So I've taken that and I'm just splitting it into 2 sections now. Now you don't have to do this, you don't have to do 2 sections, you might just have enough hair there just to kind of like do 1 section, so that's completely fine as well. I had enough to do 2 sections. I just like to do it in 2 because I think it gives me more, I can backcomb it, the first section, give it a bit of height, blend it out a bit, like you can see I'm just spreading it, and then do the next section and then spread it across a little bit more as well. So if you've got enough hair, split it into 2. If not, you know, sometimes you only have enough for the 1 section, so that's fine as well. Just make sure you're spreading it across. as much as you can. So I'm only using a little bit of hairspray and just back combing it a little bit with a comb. And like I said, I wasn't looking for too much volume on this hairstyle. I just didn't think it was going to look right on my model. So, you know, I preferred it like this. But this is where I would be really back combing a lot more if I really wanted a really big volumized look here. So just using my tail comb just to lift it up, make sure it's all even. And I'm just flattening the back combing now a little bit. So I'm just using hairspray. I use any hairspray, to be honest with you. Sometimes I use Tresemme, sometimes I'll use Silver Crin or whatever it's called, and you know, Elnet, and they all work for me. I don't have one specific hairspray that I actually work with. So here I'm just taking the hair now, spraying it a little bit and just back combing underneath. Now this is my very first section. This is going to be at the bottom. So this is the top layer, so you know I don't need to smooth out that first section first too much, but I tend to then back comb this section and then smooth it out. And when you're smoothing out your back combing, you're not smoothing it, you're not taking the comb or the brush through the hair, it's just the very top layer that you're smoothing out, otherwise you'll lose your back combing. So from the front as well, that's exactly what I'm doing. So this is the direction I actually want the hair to go into. So sometimes I will be back combing like backwards. I'll be standing behind the model and taking the hair backwards because I want it to go that way. But because I'd already covered her hair and everything, I didn't need that hair to go there. So I had enough hair just to fall to the sides basically. So I'm just back combing both sides. So I'm getting all my back combing done before I start curling the hair. I will have to go back in and back comb a bit more because when you curl you tend to pull the hair, etc. So you do have to go back in and back comb a little bit more, but you know I tend to get the majority of my back combing done first. So I'm just going to smooth that out, lift up any places that I need to. I always check everything. I'll come in front and stand right in front of her and just check everything's level at the end. So I'm using straighteners. You can use curling ones or curling tongs here, just depends what curl you want. Now I tend to use my straighteners because I just want more of a wave than a curl, and you can see I've not sped this bit up, so you can see I'm not even holding it for too long and the hair's curling quite nicely, and I'm curling backwards, like so outwards. I want it away from the face. So you know you can go for curls if you wanted a really curly look, then you know you can leave the curls in, but I tend to, you'll see that at the end what I do is I put my fingers through and I'll use some hair serum or just some hairspray and I run the fingers through the hair from the front, and I really kind of like wave it out, and it looks really nice. With the curls from the back as well, it all kind of like just blends in. Then I don't tend to personally like the really curly or you know ringlet curls and things like that at the front. I just like to run my fingers through and just make it a little bit softer, but again that's personal choice. If that's not what you like, you know, you can just keep the curls in like I've done them, and you don't need to run your fingers through them. I just think it gives a little bit more of a blend, and I think you'll realize when I show you the pictures and the videos that you know it just kind of like blends in nicer. So these bottom sections are the pieces that we just place either side initially. So this is what's going to help me blend this hair piece, the natural hair, into the hair piece. Otherwise there is a difference in the hair when you look at it. Obviously the synthetic hair is a little bit more shiny, so that's why it's nice to make sure that you've got some of the natural hair on top and it's all being blended away. So I'm just going to keep curling these. And just right from the front, I don't tend to curl it too much, I just tend to wave it a little bit more. And once you've actually run your fingers through and you just use some stronghold hairspray, it all stays in place all day. So you can see how the curls are, they're quite like ringlets, and you know you could totally leave it like that if you wanted to, but I think it's personal choice. So the other side's done, and here you can see that I'm just going to spray it, run my fingers through. So this was pretty much the look, and I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll let you see the final look now. Please don't forget to subscribe. Take care, see you next time.